Failure will teach us what we don't know. It's so important to fail, and it's so important to learn from every single failure that we endeavour to take on in our lives. And that's a lot. We are failing all the time. We could be failing in us not being happy with how we're reacting. We could be failing at work. We could be failing in relationships. We could be failing in not achieving our goals. There's many things that we can fail at. We can fail at consistently challenging ourselves not to like ourselves. We can fail with having low self-esteem, and we know that we like ourselves more than those negative thoughts that are in our minds. There is so many things we can fail at, but it's an opportunity to take stock of yourself and challenge yourself and question failure and look at it as a learning curve. It is so easy to fall into failure as just that, and that is a failure. But it has no value whatsoever when you allow it to stay at that crossroads, and that's as far as it goes. Take failure as a great experience in one's life. Look to fail. You are going to fail. There is no way in this world you are not going to fail. Welcome it, embrace it, make it your friend in life. It will not kill you. Failure is the best gift that anybody can be presented with if the person who is going through the failure realises that it's an opportunity to learn. And why should you look at failure as an opportunity to learn? Well, the alternative is when you fail, and if you look at it as such as failure, you probably won't try again. So you must look at it as more than failure and hardship, because not trying from your failure is not using failure effectively. And you can use failure effectively if you see failure as a part of your life that's going to bring opportunity to your life. You must fail. You have to fail. We fail all the time. And we can just emerge from failure. And it's so easy to look at failure as something where, I'm not good enough, or, I can't do this, or I've tried this in the past and it hasn't worked and I won't do it again. There is no value in it. But if you can look at it where you go, okay, well, what part did I play in it? Maybe I should have looked at it more. Maybe I should have stepped back from it. Maybe I went into the situation with eyes wide shut. Maybe that kind of person is not suited to me as a partner. Maybe that business deal I went into, I didn't do my homework. Maybe I reacted in a way where it wasn't my true core. I could have done a lot better in that given situation in an interaction that you failed, that you reacted to it and you believe that you failed in it. So you can't get anything out of it if you look at the word as such, and that's where it stops. The only time you can emerge from so-called failure is when you take something out of it, and there is always something to take out of failure. You just have to look at it and go deep with it and ask yourself some deep questions. Why did I do this? Why have I been the way I have been? Why did my relationships break down? Why have say my children have not behaved very well and they're struggling in their lives. Like maybe there's something within your parenting, maybe there's something within how you are in a relationship. But it's hard because you've got to take accountability with it. And that's why it's just so easy to go, well, I'm a failure, I'm not good enough, I can't do this. There's a heap of stuff on YouTube you can look at on failure. There's plenty of books on failure. In those moments when failure comes to your life, which it's going to come to your life, you can then look at a different option to get something out of, your heartache and your setbacks and your struggle. And with failure comes, like persistence. Like, of course you're going to fail. But with persistence, to learn something through that failure, it makes that failure worthwhile. But if you sit back and go, oh, well, it was everybody else's fault, why I didn't achieve, or it was everybody else's fault, why, the rain fell on my parade, or it was my ex-partner's fault this happened to me, or it was a bad business deal that this went down, or it was somebody at work that was the reason why you couldn't stay there. There could be a lot of things, but there can be a component, if you want to describe it as failing within yourself, that you can take something away from that and have a look at yourself in it and explore that position. And then when you explore it, you can come up with things, the reasons why, like maybe in that work situation, you could have went and spoken to that person instead of leaving the job that you had an altercation with, or with the boss. Maybe you could have approached the situation that led to a dismissal in a different way. In a relationship, maybe you wasn't showing up in the relationship. Maybe you judged your partner too much in the relationship. Maybe you were too critical in a relationship. Maybe in your friendships, you didn't forgive your friends for what they said to you. There's a lot of things in this so-called failure, or call them breakdowns, or whatever you experience as you define as failure is what you experience and define as failure. Like, nobody's got answers for you as to how you place failure in your heart and your soul. Only you know that. There's many descriptions for many setbacks or many disappointments in life. Some people call them failures, other people call them I wasn't good enough, or I couldn't do it. But when failure comes to me, it's like, I used to think I failed because I never ever took the good things out of it to learn from, and that I kept doing the same things in the things that I was failing at. I was failing at not getting out of drug addiction. I was failing at not changing my behaviours or my attitudes, and I was a recidivist offender all the time. I was failing at my anger. I was getting angry all the time, and I was failing not to get angry, and because I didn't like getting angry. So everyone's got their own definition of failure, but there is always something in your failures that you can learn from. And please take this away and try and learn from all failures. As I said, watch YouTube stuff on failure, read books on failure, get really motivated to explore what's in your failure so you can look at it as an opportunity to grow and to, have, to learn from these experiences of it, because it's going to come. It comes to everybody in life, and you're not alone and you're not isolated. So learn from it. If you like what I'm saying, please subscribe or hit the like button. And God bless us all. And remember, there's information everywhere. Just have a look behind me. I had a look before I had this talk on it, and there's a ton of information for people to learn from on YouTube, and everybody's got access to it. So yeah, God bless, take care.